In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a Christmas placemat with the Cricut Maker. So everything you see here is using the Cricut Maker, and I will link down below in the description box everything that you need to know to make this. Please be advised that I have not been paid nor sponsored to create this video, and all thoughts and opinions are my own. So I'm going to go into the Cricut design space and I'm going to click onto the project here. And within this project is all of my cut files for my project. And I have a little bit of a description here and all of the cut files I use for this project. So you just click on Make It. And then it will put the designs and all the relevant mats. Now, if you don't have the big mat for the Cricut like this, you can always cut this particular one out separately. But all the other ones, or you can do mat 2 separately as well, if you don't have the big mat. But all the other designs that I have done are all on the smaller mats, like so. So we're going to go over to our Cricut Maker and we are going to cut all these sections out of fabric. For this tutorial for making this Christmas placemat with my Cricut Maker, I'm going to be using the really long mat that is 12 inches by 24. However, if you don't have this mat, you could really just cut the sections yourself. It's the more intricate designs where I'm using the Appliqué, where you would really need your Cricut. But I'm showing you how to do everything all on the Cricut. So, and also I'm going to be using the fabric grip mat for the Cricut that is 12 inches by 12 inches. So I'm going to be using both of these. So the first section for my Christmas placemats are the two strips, the two white strips. So I'm just going to take the plastic film off, and I don't have anything on the back of this fabric. When I had my other cutting machine, I would have to put something on the back of this in order for it to cut. And with the Cricut Maker, you don't need that, and it's so exciting. So I'm just going to line this up here, and then I'm just going to press it down. And that should be sufficient. So this is my Cricut Maker. I didn't get the Cricut Maker 3, I just got the Cricut Maker. The only difference between the two that I could figure out was that basically that you could do the longer cutting vinyls, and I didn't really need to use it. I just wanted to use it just for fabric. So this one works perfectly for me. So I'm just going to open this up. I've just turned it on, it's just going to start moving here. And then once it stops, I can just load this straight into my Cricut. So that is all loaded, it's ready to go, and I have my rotary blade inside this machine. This machine is like awesome. It comes with a rotary blade for cutting fabric. On my Maker here, it just wants to know which fabric we are using, and I am going to select fabric. And it tells us here that it needs the rotary blade, and then once we're ready to go, we can just click the go on our Cricut. And I'm just going to go to my computer and I'm going to press continue. And it'll connect to my Maker. So as you can see, this button right here is flashing, letting us know that we can now proceed and cut this piece of fabric. So we're going to press this button and watch it. So it just aligns and makes sure that I've got enough fabric in there for what it's doing. It's going to like scan it, and after that it will cut the fabric. I'm going to let you watch this in real time. I've really been debating about getting one of these for such the longest time, and I took the plunge just this weekend and purchased my very own Cricut Maker. It's very exciting. And there we go, it is now stopped. So I'm gonna leave this still recording so you can see that I've not done anything, and I'm gonna pull this off. And as you can see, it's cut this perfectly. So right here are my very first strips for my project, and I'm now going to start cutting all my other sections. I have now placed the second piece onto my mat. Once again, I am going to line it up. And then just press the flashing button and it will start to cut. Cricut does have these rollers, and you can roll the fabric and just make sure that everything is stuck down. And I've changed over to the smaller mat. And you can skip this part. I do have timestamps in the description box below. I'm going to start cutting this section. So this is just cutting my stars. Do you have a Cricut Maker? Have you thought about purchasing one? Let me know in that comment box down below. And once it pops out, you can literally just grab a corner and just pull back the fabric, and it reveals your applique stars. Now don't throw any of this fabric away, because if you do like applique, these become your scrap sections. The next thing it's going to cut is the rectangles. And again, you're just going to pull from one corner and pull the sections all back, and then you can just use a tweezer and just peel each of these back. The next piece is going to be for my stocking. I'm just gonna get the air bubble out there. The next section it's going to be cutting out is for the stocking parts, like the top of the stocking and the sections for the socks. And once again, just take it off the mat like so. It comes off so easily. This next cut is going to be cutting like the Christmas baubles. And just take the fabric. Have you seen how many times we've used this mat and it's still working perfectly? The last section that the machine is going to be cutting is the rectangles. So again, just grab one corner and pull all the sections back, and probably get your tweezers and just pick the rectangles off the mat. Now we can move over to our sewing machine. I sew using the Baby Lock Soprano, and my machine settings are as follows. In the top of our thread we have a regular white polyester. I have a Magnetex 9014 needle in my needle, and also I have a white bobbin. I'm first going to sew using our rectangles. I'm going to get a teal and a pink and put them right sides together. I'm going to have the teal starting on top and then a pink. I've sewed them two pieces, and then I'm going to open it out like so. I'm not going to press it just yet. I'm going to get another teal and sew that onto the bottom here. You're going to end up with 5 rectangles with alternating colours like so, and we'll do the other strip, so you're going to have one on each side. I have sewed these 2 sections and they're a little bit longer than the 14 inches that are required, so I'm going to take a little bit at the top and take a little bit at the bottom, and I'm going to make it into 14 inches in length. The total length of mine measured in at 15 inches, so all I needed to take was ½ an inch at each end so they would line up still and look uniform. So now I'm going to take the white strips that we cut and I'm going to put one on either side like so. So you're going to flip it over and you're going to do it right sides together and sew them into place. Take over to your iron and press open. As you can see, I have got both the teal facing up because I want them both to be matching, and just press open both of these panels. This is what we have so far. We're going to be adding the middle section in. This is the middle section and we are going to flip this over and we are going to sew this right side, and then we're going to do the same with this side as well. Once you have attached them 2 sections together, you want to take this back over to your iron and press. Right now we're only going to be working with our batting section and our top section. I'm going to take it over to my sewing machine and I'm going to do a bit of free motion quilting in order to keep the 2 together. So this demonstration is going to be using the Christmas stocking, but it'll be exactly the same if you're doing the stars or if you're doing the ornaments. So once you get this down pat, you should be able to go on and do the other one yourself. So I am going to use the blanket stitch, and this is the setting for my particular machine. You may have to look in your machine to see what the blanket stitch is. And also it's telling me to use the J foot. I'm going to line up the centre notch on my foot with the Christmas stocking. Place my presser foot down and then start stitching. Try not to tug on your machine as it's sewing. And I'm going to slow this down a little bit because I don't want to get out of control. And I'm going to put my pivot key on. My pivot key automatically raises this foot up and down. So when I stop on the presser foot, it automatically goes down. So I'm able to control what's going on with my sewing much easier. Still a bit too quick, so I'm just going to calm this down. And I'm just going to follow along the stocking. It's best to go nice and easy with this because if you go too quickly, then that blanket stitch isn't going to look very nice. And also with curves, you just need to be careful. And I just want to make sure that I line everything back up again. So you're just going to go all the way around your stocking, exactly like this. Once we have stuck the stocking down like so, I might actually have to go ahead and press this section. And also there'll be a section for the toe and heel. It's this way round. So this is for the heel and this is for the toe, and you'd have to go around and do once again that blanket stitch to keep these into place. We do need to add a little bit of sparkle because it's Christmas, so I'm going to dot a few sequins around on the stocking, and I'm probably going to put some down on the strip. I'm going to show you how to do 1 or 2 and then you can do that on your own. So I have got a regular hand needle and I've threaded some regular white polyester into the needle. You can pair up with the same colour as the sequin. Mine are pretty white anyway, so this colour will be fine. So basically you're going to come in from the back. This is one of the reasons why I didn't use any kind of stabilisation as well, because if you use like heat and bond or something like that, it's going to be too thick to do any sort of decorative work. So if you were wondering why I didn't fuse this down with some sort of fusing, that is why, because I had the intention of wanting to put some decoration on. So once we get this secure, we're going to grab a sequin and we are going to put the sequin on. So I do it with kind of like points outwards, this sequin. So I'm not going to do it facing down, I'm going to do it so it's facing outwards. And basically what you want to do is put your thread in one side of the sequin. I do machine sew sequins on, and I hand sew sequins on, and neither are faster than the other. It's whichever best suits you. So I have this one thread on this one side. I'm going to come up through the back of this sequin here, and I'm just going to come through the other side of it here, like so, and then go back through the center. So I have a thread at both sides securing the sequin on, and then all I'll do is turn my work around to the back, and then I'll just take a few stitches into the batting like so, and I'm just going to tie this off. And when you get a loop like this, you're just going to go through the loop, and that creates a knot in the work, and then through the loop once again. Now you don't have to cut this off, and the reason why I didn't put any backing on just yet is because I was doing this type of work on the stocking. So basically just use your thread and go to the next position in your stocking and hand sew another sequin on. I'm just going to kind of do them randomly on the stocking. So this is what it looks like with the sequins on so far, and what I'm going to do is trim around the excess of this batting, because now I'm going to put the backing on. Cut out your backing section. Mine came in at 15.5 inches by 14, and put it to the back of your placemat. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch in a ditch, which means I'm just going to stitch down these two lines here and then down these two lines here, and that just holds everybody firm into place. Now we are going to add the binding. I'm not going to show you how to do that. I'm going to tell you the dimensions. I have a load of videos now telling you how to do binding, and I'm going to alternate. I'm going to do like a teal binding on one placemat and a pink binding on another. The binding strip is going to be 2¼ inches, and it's going to be at least 80 inches long. This is what your Christmas placemat will look like once it's finished. Hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video and leave a comment down below.